They told me the world would end before I turned 30. I turned 30, and nothing happened. That was the day my real life began. I grew up in a world where every sunrise was a warning, and every kindness from an outsider was a test. We were taught that everyone outside our group was either ignorant or evil, and that questioning anything meant risking eternal destruction. I was baptized at 11. Not because I understood what faith was, but because I was terrified of being left behind when the end arrived. I memorized the rules better than my school lessons. No holidays, no birthdays, no close friends who weren't approved. Every move, every thought had to align with the truth. And by 16, I was preaching door to door, warning strangers about the looming end of the world, just like I had been warned. Inside, though, something didn't fit. Questions would sneak into my mind late at night. Questions I couldn't say out loud. Why would a loving God destroy billions just because they weren't in our group? Why did it feel like love here was conditional? I told myself these doubts were attacks from the outside world. I doubled down. I prayed harder. I volunteered more. I snitched on friends for listening to bad music. I became exactly who they wanted me to be, until the day I turned 30. I woke up that morning waiting for fear, waiting for fire from the skies, waiting for the world to collapse as I'd been promised all my life. But there was nothing. Just the sound of birds outside, the hum of normal life, and in that silence, a horrifying thought crept in. What if they lied? At first I rejected it. I cried. I prayed harder. But the crack was open, and once it started, I couldn't stop the flood. I reread old teachings with fresh eyes, and I saw them for what they were: fear, control, obedience. I started reading books we were forbidden to even touch. I watched videos of people who had left, people I was warned were spiritually dead, and yet they seemed alive, free. The more I searched, the heavier the grief became. I realized I had given up my childhood, my dreams, my first love, all for a system that never really loved me back. I confronted my parents. Their faces hardened. They told me I was turning my back on God, and that if I didn't repent, I would be dead to them. The same people who taught me love were now weaponizing it against me. Leaving wasn't just walking away from a building. It was setting my entire world on fire. I lost my family. I lost every friend I'd ever had. But for the first time, I could breathe. It's been 3 years since I left. Some nights the loneliness eats at me. Some days the guilt creeps in and whispers that maybe I deserve to be alone. But then I remember. I chose truth over comfort. I chose freedom over fear. And if you're watching this, maybe you're standing at that edge too. Maybe you're terrified to jump. I promise you, the ground is closer than you think, and once you land, you will finally start living.